Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and watch or listen to this webinar. Everyone should be seeing a slide that says 2017 Spring Captains Webinar. Our hope is that you'll enjoy this a little more than the old captain's test you had to take each year on Vera. And I'll try to keep my part short and sweet so there's time for questions. Please hold all your questions until the end so we can keep a nice flow going. In case you somehow lose your connection or have to step away for a moment, a recording of this will be posted on our homepage for your convenience. Okay, let's get started. You should now be seeing a slide titled New League Website. As you know by now, Adult League has a brand new website. Gone are neoatl.com and Vera. Instead, everything you'll need can now be found in one simplified location. Let's explore this a little bit for you. So I've got it pulled up right here, as you can see. So let's kind of go over everything. All the important information can be found on the right-hand side of the page over here. You can find the contact information of your level coordinators, the summer days of play, all important dates like registration deadlines, playoff information, etc., as well as the captain's how-to guide, which might be very helpful for you new captains. As the year progresses, you'll be able to find information on all local Midwest and national championships right here. Right down here, you can find all the local rules and as well as the Midwest and national rules. And finally, if you find yourself needing to file a grievance, all the information you need is right here. So that's the website. Feel free to check it out at any time, explore it a little more. Let's get back to the presentation. Okay, you should be seeing a slide titled 2017 Changes, Days of Play, Summer, Women. Since many of you will also be captaining teams in the summer and fall, I figured we should take a few minutes to discuss the changes coming from the summer season. Now, remember, by attending this webinar, you don't have to attend one in the summer or fall if you captain again. Here you see the new days of play for women. Quite sure a few of you are wondering why we move things around, but I promise there's a reason behind it all. As many of you know, we sent out a survey to everyone last September asking for feedback on a lot of league issues. One issue was whether or not players wanted a day of rest between 18 and over and 40 and over at level leagues. The answer was a resounding yes. So our first step was to make sure none of the at-level leagues were on back-to-back nights anymore. After we did that, our next step was to make sure that one night of play wasn't too crowded with teams that the facilities wouldn't have enough courts to accommodate. So we took a look mathematically and figured out the best layout for each night. What you see on the screen is a result of hours of research and interaction with the facilities to make sure it worked for everyone. We know that this will be a change for all of you, so we greatly appreciate your help in making it work. As you can see here, the same rule applies for men. Some of the days were moved around, so make sure you check that out. And finally, the summer days of play for mixed. And don't forget, you can find a printable schedule of all this all on one page for your convenience right on the website. So you should now be seeing a slide titled 2017 Changes 40 and Over Women's Format. Another change you will find this summer is all 40 and over women's leagues will change from 2 singles, 3 doubles to 1 singles, 4 doubles. This does not impact 18 and over women or any men's leagues. The survey results showed that this was another change that players really wanted. We believe that it'll ease the struggles of trying to find 2 singles players for each match, as well as allow 9 people to play instead of 8. The important thing to note here is that if your team makes playoffs, the format will change to the national 2 singles, 3 doubles format, as we have to follow all national guidelines once the playoffs begin. So if you have aspirations for playoffs, plan accordingly. Now onto the slide titled 2-5 Women's Format. We have also made a change to the 2-5 Women's League. We are changing to the national format of 1 singles, 2 doubles. We spoke with the facilities, and they believe that this format will allow more of them to form a 2-5 women's team, thereby introducing more people to the adult league. Many facilities only have 7 or 8 2-5 ladies, so they could never form teams in the past. So this year, the goal is to get those players out on the court and exposed to adult league. Since this is the national format, it will remain throughout the regular season and the playoffs. One more change for the ladies is daytime leagues are now going to be offered for all 18 and over, 40 and over, and 55 and over leagues. We know a lot of ladies enjoy playing interclub during the day in the winter, so we want to offer them the chance to do the same in the summer. Remember, the more teams that play in daytime leagues, the less chance we all have for those dreaded 9 p.m. matches. Daytime leagues are a great way to ease the court congestion at night, so don't be afraid to give them a try. Please note that if you sign up for a daytime flight, you cannot play on an evening team in the same league. You can play in a daytime 3-0 18 and over league and an evening 3-0 40 and over league, but not two 3-0 18 and over leagues. Okay, you should now see the slide that's titled Player Registration Fee. This one is kind of a big one, and we need your help to explain it to your players. As you already know by now, the team registration fee on Tennis Link has gone from $13 to $22. Let me take a second to explain the purpose behind this so you all know. On average, this is about the same cost as in previous years. In the past, the league required that all teams pay a team fee anywhere between $110 and $140. This was paid in different ways by different facilities. Some facilities would wait until a team's roster was set and divide the team fee by all the players on the roster and bill them that amount. Other facilities bill the player a portion of the team fee every time they played a match. And finally, other facilities require their captains to pay the team fee, so a captain would then have to collect the rest of the money from each player on his or her team. To pay these fees, a facility would have to use its corporate credit card to pay every single fee before the season started, and then spend months trying to recuperate this amount. Not exactly time efficient for all the parties involved. So to ease the hassle of collecting team fees, we decided to incorporate that fee into the player registration fee. To do this, we added up all the team fees, divided it by the number of players, and determined that the average amount a player was paying towards their team fee was $9. Rather than being billed for it later by your facility or captain, you are now just paying it all up front. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, it is important to note that we do not have any control over what a facility chooses to charge players for participating in the league program. Okay. You should be seeing a slide that says NTRP at level minimum. One final change this year is the new NTRP at level minimum. This rule now requires that all 5 court leagues have at least 4 at-level players on their roster at the time of the initial registration deadline, and all 3 court teams have at least 3 at-level players. This only applies to men's and women's leagues. It does not apply to any of the combination level leagues like mixed, combo, etc. This rule was put in place because of more results received in the survey. Players indicated that they were tired of driving 45 minutes only to play an uncompetitive match. Our hope is this rule is a step in the right direction to make the majority of our matches more competitive. We are still encouraging players to play up. It's how we improve our game. But we sometimes forget that the higher rated player on the other side of the net is paying to play a competitive match. This rule does not apply to individual match lineups. It only applies to the overall team roster. So please take note of that. Okay, let's get to the captaining stuff. Let's talk communications. Please use email to communicate and confirm match information to one another. This way, there's a paper record of the conversation in case some discrepancies arise down the road. Remember, always include your league coordinator on your communications. The week of your match, reconfirm the details of your match with the visiting captain just to make sure everyone is on the same page. As you know, new this year is that you will be able to see the actual match date and times in Tennis Link. However, the email you receive from the home captain is the official match information. Often changes are made last minute or mistakes are made in entering the information on TennisLink. So always make sure your players know that they should check with you to make sure they have the correct information. Finally, nobody likes defaults, but they happen. There are several things you as a captain can do to be as sportsmanlike as possible. First, don't just show up to a match shorthanded and then tell the other captain you're forfeiting a court. If early in the week you're having trouble finding players, keep the opposing captain in the loop so he or she can let his or her players know that a forfeit may occur. Sometimes you don't know you're going to have to forfeit until the day of the match. Please let the opposing captain know as soon as you do, even if it's only an hour before the match. That may be enough time to save a player from making an unnecessary trip. We all hate showing up for a match ready to play only to find out that the other team didn't show up. You should now be seeing a slide titled Match Day Etiquette. So these are our list of things to consider on match day. Not all are officially in the rulebook, but consider them very strong suggestions. First, try and get your players there at least 15 minutes early. If you tell them 15 minutes, that might get the players who like to walk in right at match time. Get them there a little bit earlier. Second, exchange your lineups at least 10 minutes before the match. Since you have to wait for all your players to arrive prior to exchanging your lineups, here's another good reason to get your players out there early. Getting the lineups exchanged early will make sure all teams are ready to go at the start of their scheduled match time. Next, get your players out on the court on time and stick to the 10-minute warm-up. Nothing is more frustrating than showing up for a 7:30 match only to see the 6 o'clock matches are still in the first set. Then you'll find out that they didn't exchange their lineups until 6:05. Players took 5 minutes to walk out on the court and chit-chat. The warm-up lasted 18 minutes, and they didn't get started until nearly 6:30. It happens more than you think, and it starts with being organized and ready to go when your match is scheduled. Finally, remember to display good sportsmanship at all times, and don't forget to report and confirm your scores on TennisLink within 48 hours. Finally, get to know your league coordinator. For mixed, that would be me, and for combo, your league coordinator is Cal Lockard. We're here to help you with anything you need during the year. No question is a bad one, so don't hesitate to ask it. Remember, you can find a list of all the coordinators right on the league website. Let me just take a second to thank each and every one of you for volunteering your time to be a captain. I know from experience that there's very little reward in being a captain, and you often receive very little recognition. Please know that we recognize that without you guys, we don't have a league. We really hope that you have appreciated all of the changes that are being made to make things a little easier for you. From the new website, to the simplified registration form, to the match times being posted on TennisLink, hopefully all of these things have saved you some time and aggravation. We hope more changes are coming in the coming months, so stay tuned. Okay, that's officially the end of my presentation. Are there any questions? I see that there are. First question is, can I get a hard copy of the presentation? As you know, the recording will be posted on the website. If you want the actual slideshow presentation, feel free to email me. It's derek@neota.midwest.usta.com, and I will be happy to send you one. How do we get credit for watching the webinar? You just got credit. Unlike in years past with the captain's obligation, we knew you took the test because you registered and you had to pay $5. We're now treating you a little bit more like grown-ups, and we're going to trust that you're going to watch the video. You don't have to fill out any form. You don't have to sign anything saying you watched it. But when you filled out the team registration form, you said that you would watch the video. So we are going to hold you to knowing what we discussed in the webinar as well as knowing the rules for the league. So if something were to come up, you couldn't say, hey, I didn't watch the video. So obviously, though, if you're listening to this, you're watching, so thank you for that. But there's no official checkoff list. If you watched it, you watched it. Who are the LLCs again? As I said, I am the Mixed LLC, and the Combo LLC is Cal Lockard. LLC is local league coordinator, just if you didn't know the shorthand of that. Will the at-level requirement ever evolve to a lineup rule, i.e. top players have to play first doubles, first singles, etc.? I can say at the moment, no, but we view this at-level requirement of 4 and 3 as a first step. Many people in the survey actually indicated they would like a stiffer policy, so we're taking small steps to start, and then we will ask the players again at the end of the year in the survey what they thought, if it needs to keep going, and we will reevaluate. Except for a few of the higher level leagues, the 5-0 plus, the 40 and over 4-5 plus leagues, National does not have the quote-unquote stacking rule. So anyone can play anywhere at the current time, but that doesn't mean that that'll stay that way in the future. Can a captain choose to wait for opponents if they are late? Yes, they can. If the two captains are okay with waiting for a player, we see no reason to forfeit a match when everyone there wants to play. Now, if one captain wants to wait, it would probably be the captain whose player is late, but the other person does not. That captain has every right to start the default clock when the match is set to begin. So both captains would have to agree, but again, we want everyone to play, we want everyone to have fun. We know things come up, traffic, accidents, different stuff. So if the two captains are okay with it and the facility is okay with it, by all means, play the match. Can a player's NTRP rating be questioned? Yes and no. If the player is self-rate, then a grievance can be filed against that person to question their self-rate appeal. If the player is computer-rated, then no. You cannot question the player's rating, as since it's computer rated, National will not change it during that year, and that's for better or worse. It's just set. But again, you come across a self-rated player you don't feel is playing at the level they're rated at, you may file a grievance against them. Should teams tell visiting teams of any detours or traffic issues that may arise for them on their way to the facility? So basically, I think they're saying, should a home team, if a home team knows that the route to the club is being ripped up or torn apart under construction and it's going to add 15-20 minutes to the visiting team's commute, yes, absolutely, they should let them know. That being said, it's the visiting team's responsibility to get there on time, so either try to look into that beforehand or just make sure you leave early enough to leave yourself enough time in case you run into traffic or road closures or something to that effect. But yes, sportsmanship-wise, it would be great if the home captain would let visiting captains know of any issues like that. What time is the official match? What time can a person officially call a default match? That's actually an interesting rule that you can find in the new Friend at Court, which there's actually a link on our website and under our rules section. It's page 110. There's a table for you to look at. Technically, if court is open and available, then the clock starts and the total clock time that you allow is 15 minutes. But there's many increments in there between rules, so I would advise checking that out. In the past, the National section used to send us Friend at Court booklets for the captains. Unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. So if you would like to obtain a hard copy, you need to go to the USTA homepage and check out their shop, and you can purchase one on there. We unfortunately do not have any to give out or sell. They just are promoting more of the online version now because that's much cheaper. Doesn't cost any money for them to print. Will you be creating flights by proximity this summer? So that's a good question. That really is up to the local league coordinator and the captains in that subflight. What the local league coordinator usually does is ask the captains if they would prefer to have their matches in proximity or if they would like to play a variety of teams. For example, one club may have 3-3-0 women's teams. Some years people might vote, say, hey, I don't feel like driving this year. Let's just get all 3 teams in the same subflight so we have extra home matches. Other years people say, you know what, I'm tired of playing the same people from my club. I want to mix it up. I'd rather drive a little bit further to play new competition. So we leave that up to the local league coordinators and you as captains to kind of make that decision. So, if a local league coordinator asks you your opinion, obviously you can just give it yourself, but consider asking your players, see what kind of feeling they have towards it, and let them have a bit of a say. One more question. Since the format for the 2-5 women has changed, will they be playing more matches? No, they'll play the same amount of matches because it's the same amount of weeks in the season. That doesn't change. Obviously, the main goal and reason behind this is to get some of the smaller facilities with less 2-5s the opportunity to form teams, get them out exposed to the league, and enjoying tennis with the rest of us. The other hope is that teams won't have to carry 20, 25 ladies on the team. If you divide up to 8, 10, or 12 people on a team, those players should be getting more matches. And the second half of that question is they're worried that they won't play enough matches to count towards their rating to get bumped to 3-0. As long as they're playing 2 matches, the computer will do the calculations to get them bumped. So again, if you have less players on a roster, hopefully the goal is get more people playing more matches instead of 1 or 2. Get them out there for 3, 4, or 5 with the smaller roster size. Okay, that's all the questions we have, and I want to thank everyone again for spending your time sitting here listening to me talk. Hopefully you found it useful. Again, any questions, concerns, feedback, feel free to send it my way. We're always looking to improve and get better. Thanks, and have a great evening.